Hello and a very warm welcome to all of you in this webinar on an extremely crucial topic concerning many of the businesses across the industries on collaborative work management presented by Citrix. To make it more exciting and engaging, we have polls, a video, and then live questions coming from the attendees, which will be answered at the end of the discussion. So watch the conversation and keep all your queries ready. Before I introduce you to the presenter, I just want to share the context of the discussion with you. Most organizations are pursuing some form of digital transformation strategy to reinvent themselves, including business process improvement initiatives that require increased cross-functional collaboration to achieve success. According to market reports, 66% of global services decision makers say their firms are currently involved in a digital transformation that requires greater cross-functional collaborative work, which means that teams are collaborating more than ever. Companies are promoting hybrid work environment in a bid to stem the spread of COVID-19, placing even greater demands on collaborative work management. The wholesale transition to new ways of working means that our reliance on long-established, locally deployed software and applications can no longer deliver the digital dexterity and efficiency required in a world where teams might not be co-located and where collaborating across functions, disciplines, and regions is a norm. In this scenario, collaborative work management becomes more crucial than ever. This webinar will showcase how to conquer common workplace challenges and optimize productivity, transparency, and collaboration with RIKE. Please welcome Mr. Ankur Bhalotia, Technology Specialist, Citrix Systems, to take us through an hour of exciting content introducing collaborative work management, followed by a RIKE demo. Hello and a warm welcome to you, Ankur. All right, so we have the question in front of us, which is how important are work management tools for you? And we do have the multiple options. I would request all our attendees to please vote for the option you would like to go for. Here we go with the results. 54% of the people says that work management tools should be used every day by everyone. Very nice. And 31% says important for big projects only. And only 15% says somewhat important for big projects. So we have 0% people saying not important at all. So what are your thoughts on this, Ankur?
Well, that's interesting result, Kalpana. Thanks for sharing the results of poll with me. So I'm glad that 54% people do see the value in work management tools and they believe that should be used every day. I would like to start my presentation with some insights. One of the things that has happened recently is people have started to work from home because of COVID-19. I understand the situation might be slightly different in different parts of the world, but the overall trend that we are seeing across the globe is people are planning to do a hybrid work culture. What this means is people go to office few days a week, people work from home few days a week. The second thing I have observed in my customer base is people are working in cross-functional teams. So there could be teams like DevOps, where people from software background and people from IT background work together. The third thing we have noticed is a lot of organizations are struggling with projects. So on an average, what we found was a large project can run 45% over budget and delivers 56% less value than initially predicted. And when it comes to employees, we found that on an average, an employee spends 28% of their time managing emails and another 20% time looking for information. So the information could be things like, where is the design, or where is that email that someone sent to me 2 months ago, or where is the master plan that I should have access to do my job. So if we add these two numbers, 28% and 20%, it's about 50%. So half of an employee's time is being wasted doing unproductive work. So to solve these issues, we can use a collaborative work management tool. Now, RIKE is a collaborative work management tool. And in case you're wondering, Ankur, what is so special about RIKE? There are other tools in the marketplace. So the answer is Rike has been rated as best-in-class tool by different analysts like Gartner, IDC, and Forrester. I will talk more about it in my coming slides. So today I will go through Rike overview, followed by a demonstration, then a couple of case studies and question and answers. I'll be taking questions as I go through the presentation, so feel free to ask your questions as soon as they pop up. So let me talk about a scenario where there is no collaborative work management tool in place. By the way, CWM stands for Collaborative Work Management. So in a scenario where there's no collaborative work management tool in place, people are using emails and some old school tools like spreadsheets. So how work will look like? So the first stage of any work is work intake. This intake could be from an internal stakeholder. It could be a work from the customer. The size of the work could be a project or it could be a task. So typically what we see, there is a sales team that works with the customer, and the customer gives them some sort of project. It could be through a tender, it could be through a sales. A lot of that information sits in different locations, typically in email threads. Now, when the project comes through, the project needs to be delivered by a set of people who work for the organization. So the information that was previously present with a different team gets assigned to a different team whose job is to deliver the project. This process is usually done either through instant messaging like Slack, Microsoft Teams, or through emails. And this work is managed usually through Excel sheets. Now, I would like to point one small issue that happens in this process. The people or the team who are actually going to deliver the work, they don't usually have visibility of what has transpired in the first phase. So they either go back to the salespeople to figure out what should be done, or even to the end customer to figure out what needs to be done. So there's a lot of back and forth, a lot of time goes by, which causes delays in the process. Now, when the team starts to work, they might be using some spreadsheets for collaboration, review, and approval process. They might be creating their documents in Office 365 and might be using Google Drive to share their documents, or maybe emails to share their documents. This is okay for maybe a small team which is working on a small project for a couple of weeks. But here's a bigger issue that pops up. When there are a lot of project documents, it's very hard to keep track of the right version of the document, especially when there are teams that are located in different parts of the country or different parts of the world. People email their stuff and then someone replies and then someone does something else. And usually what happens is people end up with 3 or 4 slightly different versions of the same document, which ends up in confusion at the end of the day. And finally, when it comes to reports, analytics, and dashboards, people have to send a report to their either line manager or to the project manager what they have been up to for the whole week. Now, everyone spends time writing a report, and then the project manager spends time compiling the report and maybe using some sort of BI visualizations to create some nice charts for executive leadership team. Now, this process takes time, and this is pretty much a repetitive process because it needs to be done every week. So let's look at a couple of questions. Is there any collaboration in this whole story? And I believe no, there is no collaboration. People are working in their own silos. Is there any visibility of who is doing what? And here visibility refers to visibility at the wider team or enterprise level. And my answer is no. People who are part of the project team, they would know what other people are doing. But other than that, people in the same department or across the enterprise would have zero idea what anyone else is doing. And do we have an efficient and integrated workflow? Well, there isn't any efficiency because people are doing the same thing again and again. Even it could be automated, and there is no integration because people are switching from one app to other app. And we have observed that people on an average go through 4 different apps to do a simple task. Now let's see how things can be different with Rike. So the work intake process, it could be a project, it could be a task. Every time when a salesperson is talking to the customer, all this information could be entered into Rike. Now, when the project comes through, the work can be assigned to the resources in Rike. As soon as the work is being assigned, the people will have access to the whole project. So all the communication that has been done. So things like the project scope, costing, who will be involved in the project, and so on and so forth. All that information will be visible to people who are working on the project. Now, collaboration, review, and approval, all these things happen in Rike. So people can have 10 versions of the document, but everything stays within Rike, so there is no confusion. People know what's the latest version of the document, and Rike becomes the single source of truth at the end of the day. And for dashboard, reports, and analytics, these can be generated with a single mouse click. So project manager doesn't have to spend time on Fridays to compile the reports. And these reports are real time, so it doesn't have to be sent out on Friday. If someone from executive leadership team wants to know on Wednesday afternoon, how's the project progressing, they can get almost a real-time report just with a single mouse click. So with Rike, there is collaboration, there is visibility of who is doing what, and we have an efficient and integrated workflow. So to summarize how Rike can help you from end-to-end workflows. So Rike can help you with the work intake. It can help you with planning both financial aspect of planning as well as the resource aspect of planning. And then you can assign the work to different resources in the organization. You can do project execution in Rike, and the execution is done in a collaborative manner where everyone has visibility of what's being done and what needs to be done. Then you can do time and budget tracking. You can do reporting through dashboards and business intelligence tools. And finally, if you are doing a services project for a customer, you can use timesheets, and you can use those timesheets for billing purposes. So Rike has all the tools in place to create workflows that can be suitable for your organization. Now, one of the questions that a lot of customers ask me is, so Ankur, Rike is a project management tool. And my answer to that question is, yes, Rike is a project management tool, and it is more than just a project management tool. It's a work management tool. But what does it mean to be a project management tool, or what does it mean to be a work management tool? So I have put some characteristics of these two tools side by side to show the difference. So a project management tool is usually used for a planned project, is a tool that is used by project managers. These tools are fairly complex tools. It takes a while to master those tools. And these tools are not really meant for operations. They are just meant for projects. These tools are used for planning schedules and monitoring cost of the project, and they are usually pretty niche. For example, you might be using a tool for construction management. So the tool is meant to be used for construction project management only. Whereas when we look at collaborative work management, which is a superset of project management, it can be used for planned projects, operations, and unstructured work. Unstructured work is a term that is used for work that is neither a planned project, that's not an operation. It's sort of ad hoc work, which doesn't fit in one of those predefined categories. Also, it can be used by all the users. It's not just for project managers. Work management tools are relatively easier to master. Rike is an extremely simple tool to master. People can learn Rike from a user perspective within a couple of hours. It supports both projects and operations. Also, it has support for planning, execution, and monitoring. And you get real-time information sharing, collaborative task management, visibility of work, centralized communication, and document sharing. So overall, you get a lot more through collaborative work management tools. Now, the other question that a lot of people ask me is, so Ankur, can I use Rike in my organization or in my department? And my answer is yes. Rike is a work management tool. So as long as there is work in your organization or your department, Rike can definitely help you. So we have got customers using Rike in different departments. Rike has been used in program management. It has been used in marketing and creative departments. It has been used in product management and engineering, professional services, operations, sales, IT, finance, legal, HR, and admin. In fact, RIKE can be used for company-wide applications as well. So we have got a lot of use cases where RIKE has been used in different ways to suit the requirement of the organization and the departments. Now, in case you are a pre-existing Citrix customer, Citrix has solution offering for any user, any location, any device, and any application. With the acquisition of RIKE, the solution offering has included any work type on top of the pre-existing offerings. So at this stage, I guess Kalpana will have another poll.
All right, so we have one more poll for our audience, and it is all about, have you used any of the tools below? And there are multiple options been given. Would request our audience to please vote for the option they would like to go for. All right, so here we go with the results. 50% of people says Smartsheets and 38% of them says Workfront, while 19% says Asana and 6% says Monday.com.
Okay, great. Thanks for sharing the results. So I would like to add a couple of more things about RIKE. So I talked about analytics and reporting, and I will show them in the demo. The other thing I want to talk about is insights. So based on the historical data in RIKE, you can create insights. So insights like, how's your team performing? Do you need to make any change in your team structure or maybe in your business processes to get more output from your team? Also, RIKE cover all work types. It can be used for task management. It could be used for project management. It can be used for program and portfolio management. And you can create your own workflows in RIKE. What this means is you can use RIKE to create a workflow that is suitable for professional services team, or you can create a workflow that suits your engineering team. So it's completely up to you how you would like to mold RIKE to suit your department or your organization. Then RIKE can be used by any team. So we have got Kanban boards, which can be used by agile teams. We have got Gantt charts, which can be used by project managers who prefer waterfall style project management. We have got option of lists and calendars as well. RIKE works across all workflows. So what this means is RIKE can be integrated with different enterprise apps to create a workflow that suits your organization or your team. RIKE is a highly configurable product. In fact, RIKE prides itself being so configurable that RIKE says it will work for you, not the other way around. There are some tools in the market where teams have to adapt their style of working to suit the tool, but RIKE is not like that. RIKE is highly scalable. RIKE can be used by a team of 5 or a team of 10,000. And RIKE has got enterprise-grade security. So RIKE has got multiple security certifications like GDPR, HIPAA. It has got SOC 2 and SOC 3 compliance. It has got ISO and IC certifications as well. A little bit more on RIKE Integrate. So RIKE Integrate is an integration and automation platform, and it integrates with 400 plus apps through low-code integration. Now, what this means is, if we were to create an integration between two apps, traditionally someone has to write an integration. It's usually done by software developers. But with RIKE Integrate, we don't need to really rely on software developers and give them weeks or months to do this integration. With the RIKE integration automation platform, this integration can be done almost using drag and drop, which can be done within hours or days instead of weeks and months. In case you're wondering, if you don't want to use RIKE Integrate, is there a way to integrate? Yes, RIKE also has REST APIs, and through REST APIs, you can use the traditional way of writing the integration yourself and creating the integration with RIKE. Here's a sample of what an integration looks like. So in my example, RIKE sits in center of Salesforce, ServiceNow, and NetSuite. In your organization, these could be different apps that will suit your workflow. So one of the things is we are not replacing any of these tools. These tools are meant for their own specific purposes. We are just making them better. We are creating workflows in an automated manner so that you get more out of these tools. You expand your IT ecosystem. There is no manual intervention in the process, which means that there is no chance of any clerical error, and you get almost real-time data transfer between these apps. Here's a little bit more about Wrike's market positioning. So Wrike is here in the leaders quadrant. What this means is Wrike has got a very strong strategy as well as a very strong product offering. And Wrike has been rated as a leader by different organizations like Forrester, IDC, Gartner, and a couple of other organizations. We have got more than 20,000 customers. I have selected 6 of them to talk about. So Siemens is one of our customers with 12,000 user base. The other one is Ernst & Young with 10,000 users. We have got Oracle, Sony Pictures, and few of them, huge customers. And again, we have got customers from different verticals. We have got customers from defense, from federal government, from technology organizations, from financial services. I would say we have got customers in almost every vertical that I can think of. A couple of other things I want to talk about. One of the things is approvals. So a lot of times what happens in organization is we need to have approvals in place so that a project or a change request or a document needs to be approved before we can go to the next stage of the workflow. And the other thing is proofing. So let's say if there's a document and the document needs to be read by someone else and then approved. So we have that option as well. So with proofing, I've got an example on the right-hand side. So let's say there is an image and the person who's reviewing this image, the person can leave comments on the image, like what needs to be done, and they can tag the relevant people who needs to make that change. So using approvals and proofing together, we can proof designs, marketing strategies. There are almost infinite applications if we use them together. One last thing I want to talk about before going to Wrike demonstration is Wrike post-sale support. We have got a dedicated team for Wrike post-sale support. The team is made up of professional services consultants. These consultants work with you once you buy Wrike. They help you to set up Wrike in a way that is suitable for your organization and for your teams. Also, they help you to create Wrike champions in your teams. The job of Wrike champion is to give you first level of support so that you don't have to rely on Wrike or on professional services teams to answer some of the first level support questions. We have got option of education. We have got various level of certifications. You can have your complete team certified, or you can have your admin certified. We have got Wrike community where you can post feedback on the product, and this feedback is visible to the product management team. So you can influence the product management with features and the product development. And we have got 24/7 customer support through phone, email, and chat. So this is how Wrike is organized. When we log into Wrike, we will go to a landing page, and from landing page we can go into different spaces. Now, the concept of space could be thought of as a department in the organization. It doesn't have to be, but just for this demo, I will say let's think space as a department. Within a department, I can have multiple folders, which could be thought of either as a program or a portfolio. And within a folder, I can have multiple projects, and then we can have tasks in each of the projects. Now, we can have tasks directly into a folder if it's an operations folder. And if it's a huge project, we can have our complete space dedicated to a project. So it's highly flexible, and it's up to us how we would like to organize our spaces, folders, and our projects.
So before we go for the demonstration, Ankur, there is a question.
Mhm.
Does Wrike integrate with Microsoft Teams?
That's a great question, and yes, it does. In fact, we have got a very tight integration with Microsoft Teams where people can work in Teams. They don't even have to leave Teams, and they have got a full accessibility of Wrike through the Teams.
All right. And is Wrike a subscription-based product?
Yes, that's another great question. So Wrike is a SaaS product. What this means is you don't have to buy any hardware. You just need to sign up with Wrike, and just like your email from Gmail, you can start using your Wrike on your system. So this is our landing page in Wrike, and these are the spaces in Wrike. Now, for the demo purposes, I have created multiple spaces, but it can be a little bit more organized at your end. You can have spaces for HR, for leadership team, and for different departments. On the left-hand side, there is an inbox. So every time anyone tags me in their task or in the proofing, I will have a notification in my inbox that will let me know that someone needs my attention. On the right-hand side, I have got different tools like timesheets, dashboards, reports, etc. Also, I can pin the task that I'm regularly working on, so I don't have to go and search for this task. So I will quickly start with how I create a project in Wrike. So uh, I have a space called projects with phases, and I've got a few different folders and projects here. So to start a project, I can click here on the plus sign, and I can give a name to the project. Let's say it's demo project. I can give it a start date, end date, and if it's a billable project, I can tag it as a billable project. And once I click on create, a project will be created for me. So here's a new project. Now, if I'm working in a collaborative environment, let's say I'm working with the HR team on this environment, and HR team sits in a different space altogether. So what I can do, I can cross tag my project and have HR space on the project. This means that HR team will have full access to my demo project and just the demo project. So my other projects like demo or complex project with phases, they won't have any access to the other stuff that I have in this space. Second thing is anything I write here, this is a live editor. What this means is once I'm typing something here and anyone else who is part of this project can see this information being updated in real time. Now, let me create some tasks for the demo. I am creating tasks called T1, T2, T3, T4. These are just symbolic names. In real life, I will have logical names, what they would really mean to me. Now I can assign this task to different people in my organization. So let's say I assign this one to Vic. I can assign, let's say, the second one to Jim. Now, when I'm planning a project, I might want to assign a task not to a particular person, but to a particular job role. So for example, I know this task needs to be done by developer, but I don't know who exactly will be doing the task. So what I can do, I can assign this task to a job role as in a developer or a marketer or a HR person. And then when I have to actually do the task, I can assign this task to the relevant person. So I've got this option with me. Other thing is I can add comment anyone in the task. For example, I can say, Stanley, can you please help me? So as soon as the message is being posted here, Stanley gets a notification in his inbox that someone is looking for his help, and he can come to this task and provide help. So this at the right option, we can tag people. We can tag people in a task and also in the proofing option that I will show you shortly. Now, the project itself can be managed through different options, as I mentioned previously. So we have got a Kanban board option where we can drag and drop the projects from one stage to the other stage. We have got a table option, which is very similar to a spreadsheet. And also we can put an effort. So let's say if we are doing, planning a project and we know that a particular task will take certain amount of time. So all this information can be entered here. And we can have financial fields available as well. So based on the job rates of the people or the individual rate of the person, we can do financial planning as well. Like how much is it going to cost me to do a particular project or a particular task? And then we have got Gantt charts. Right, Gantt charts are highly interactive. What this means is you can drag and drop the Gantt charts. So there are a couple of ways to work with Gantt charts. Either you can enter all the data here manually, or you can come here and you can with use of mouse pointer, you can create the Gantt charts, and you can move them around as well. And we can create the dependencies as well. My laptop is a little bit slow, so it's taking some time to show the output. Now, one of the questions that pops up at this stage is people ask me, so Ankur, this is all good, but my organization wants to use a particular design for the project. What you have done is okay, but let's say I've got 500 tasks that need to be done as part of a complex project, and I also want to enforce a compliance in my organization. So for that purposes, what we can use is a project template. So we can have different kind of project templates if there are certain types of projects that your organization does. And once we have to create a project, we can right click and click on duplicate, and this will create a duplicate project from the template. So basically you don't have to recreate the task or assignments. Everything is pre-populated for you. A very similar but slightly different option is to use a project request form. Now the project request form has an option of creating different fields and approvals. So I've created a project request form here. I've created a few questions, and this is completely customizable. You can add more questions at the end of the form, and you can have your own questions, whatever they mean for your organization or for your department. And also you can have different options like short answer, long answer, drop-down categories. You can create a public link as well if you want people outside your organization to have a project request, and you can add approvers. So I've added Janet and Joel as approvers. So I can click OK. And currently I don't have any project under project pending approvals. So if I go to the request form and I fill this request form to create a new project and I submit it, I hope to see a project here under this folder. So this has been sent, and I just got a new project here, and a project created from a project request form, and it's a very comprehensive project with multiple phases, and each of the phase has further sub-phases. And if I go to the project, I can see that there are approvals in the project. So let's wait for a couple of seconds for this to come up. So I've got two people who need to approve this project, Janet and Joel. So these people were my approvers, and currently I can see the approval is pending for this particular project. The other thing I want to talk about is dashboards. Now, as a project manager, you might have 10 projects going on at a particular point of time, and you might have 100 tasks in each of the projects. So you might have 1,000 tasks that you might want to look at, and it's almost impossible to go and have a look at individual tasks. So for that reason, we have got dashboards and reports and workload charts. So you can create your own dashboards. They are completely configurable. You can add your own widgets. So the dashboards are made up of widgets, and we have got different type of widgets that you can choose from, and we have got custom widgets which you can customize from scratch. So I've got a couple of widgets for high risk. So this dashboard is meant to monitor risk, a high impact risk and high probability risk. Then I've got another dashboard where I'm looking at different tasks. So tasks which are currently unassigned to anyone, tasks which are due, tasks which are overdue. And again, you can create more widgets to suit your requirements. Also, I've got a workload chart. Now, the workload chart gives me access to everyone in my organization, and I can see if these people are free at a particular point of time or they are not free at a particular point of time. So for example, I can see Bart Simpson has got 0 hours, but has got some gray lines. What this means is Bart, as part of my project or my space, is not doing anything, but he has got graded lines. It means that he is working in a different space or in a different project where he's busy. So if I can visually see out of 8 hours, he's occupied for like 5 or 6 hours right now. So I can see, just looking at Bart, visually how much bandwidth does he have to work on a particular project. The other thing I can do here is I can go to the backlog box, and the backlog box allows me to assign my unassigned task to people here. So again, in the backlog box, I will see two categories of backlogs. One backlog is the completely unassigned backlog, but the other backlog is the work that has been assigned based on job roles. So for example, I know there is some work that was assigned to project managers, and I know there was some work that hasn't been assigned to anyone. So I can go here and I can go to the particular task that was unassigned. I can look at the task and I can assign the task to the relevant people based on their skill set. I can see their skill set here as well. So this person is from operations, and I can drag and drop the task from here in the workload. So I've got a very visual approach to assigning work. The last thing I want to talk about.
Yeah. Please carry on.
Yeah, thanks, Kalpana. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is proofing. So I have got few attachments in a task. I have got a couple of images and a video. So the proofing works like this. Let's say if I were to proof this particular attachment, I have got a few different options. I can use the arrows, and I can leave a comment for a particular person. Let's say for Dario, can you please make it darker? And I'm assuming this is for a creative kind of organization, but again, you can be proofing a design document for engineering or for any other department. We have got option of creating polygons. Again, same thing. I can leave the comments here, and I can change colors. I can have different colors here. I can use a pencil as well. And again, I can leave comments here. So I've got all these options here. And the last thing I want to talk about is the reports. So in Write, we have got as reports as in business intelligence reports. So we have got few different kind of BI reports. There are some pre-built reports available, and you can create your own analytics board as well. So this is what a board will look like. So this is a project portfolio overview. Here I can see the number of active projects, total number of projects, overview projects, task completion rate, and breakdown of projects based on project managers, and a pie chart based on the project status. And this is an interactive pie chart. So if I click here on completed, the whole thing will change to the projects that have been completed. So I get information about how many project managers have completed the projects, and everything gets changed accordingly. And again, these widgets are completely programmable. You can have your own widgets. We have got about 15 different kind of graphs and charts that you can use for your widgets, and you can choose your own data, what data would you like to visualize. The other thing I have is here is a pivot chart where you can go directly to the project if you want to get more information. The other report I have here is for a project where you can see number of number of tasks, number of active tasks, and who is working on the task. And similar to the portfolio, there is a pivot table as well, and a couple of other charts showing different information. But again, this is completely programmable. You can change it based on your needs. So that brings me to the end of the demonstration. I will quickly share a couple of case studies, and then we will go to the question and answers.
Yeah, so in between, though, I've got two of the questions. Would you like to take them now or after the case study?
Well, we can take them now.
Okay. So I've got a question from Vindya Prasad from Sonata Software, and he's asking that single sign-on and MS ad integration, is it possible?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and the other question is from Ketan Mehta from OneUpIn. He's asking that is Rike better than Jira and how?
Okay, that's a really good question. Is Rike better than Jira and how? I wouldn't say Jira is better or Rike is better. That's a bit difficult to say because it's not an apples to an apples comparison. Jira has been traditionally used by IT teams, especially the product management and product development teams for developing products. That's how Jira has traditionally been used. Rike is a much broader tool. I haven't seen a lot of organizations using Jira across their organization. So if you were to roll out a tool that will allow all your teams to work together, so maybe Jira won't be the kind of tool that everyone will be comfortable with. Jira is a good tool, but the issue with Jira is it's a very technical tool, and only engineers are comfortable using those tools, are comfortable using tools like Jira. Rike, on the other hand, is a fairly simple tool. Anyone can use this tool. Other thing I want to point out is we have got two-way sync with Jira. What this means is we have got very tight integration with Jira. A lot of our customers use Jira and Rike side by side. So they might be using Jira for their product management team and Rike for people who are not in product management. And because of the two-way sync, they are able to get information to and from Jira. So that's the other option that a lot of people are using. And Kalpana, I would also like to come back to the previous question. Can Rike have single sign-on? Yes, we do. In fact, a lot of our customers, what they do is they use single sign-on with Rike, and just like every other application, they have the credentials predefined, so they don't have to punch in their credentials and stuff. With Microsoft, we have got very tight integration with Microsoft, not just with Teams, but with multiple products like Outlook, for example. So with Teams, you can work in Teams. You don't have to even go to Rike interface. So everything I demonstrated in the browser, you can access from Microsoft. So yes, we have got very tight integration there.
Right. Thank you for replying those two questions, and I hope this will help Vindya Prasad as well as Ketan Mehta.
And Ketan and Vindya, you are more than welcome to email me if you have any further questions. So a couple of case studies. I understand we are a bit short on time. We have about 5 minutes left. So the first case study is from a US-based organization called Fitbit. They are in health, technology, and software sector. Previously, they were using Jira and Workfront and the other tool, I don't even know how to pronounce this. And it was used by the marketing and creative department. So let's look at a couple of challenges they were facing. So there was lack of reporting. They were struggling with collaborating with their teams because they had teams both in US and outside the US, and they wanted to streamline their proofing and review of work. So what made them buy Wrike? The first thing was customer service. The second thing was it was easy to implement, and third thing it has got intuitive interface, which translates to it is easy to learn and easy to use. As a result, they were able to save 400 hours of their meeting time per year. They were able to get 50% less time spent on project management specific timelines. So, and 200 plus hours saved tracking launch marketing materials. So overall, they were able to save a fair bit of their time by adopting Wrike. The other case study is from an organization called ABUS. It's a German organization working in security. A lot of their departments are using Wrike right now. So their challenges were there was no alignment regarding to tools and methodology for developing, planning, executing projects. One of the things I mentioned, everyone does their own thing. Every project manager runs their project in their own way. The second thing was the existing product data management system was too complicated, and especially when there are users who are non-technical users, these things get fairly complex for them. And the third thing was there's lack of transparency and accountability. So with Wrike, they used project templates. I showed the templates option. So Wrike is a cloud solution. They used request forms, rights management. Rights management is you allow people to do only certain things in Wrike. They used Gantt charts and Wrike proof. And as a result, they were able to get things done more quickly. And they had a lot of other good results from here. So we have taken questions. As a next step, I would suggest you to talk to.
Sorry to interrupt, Ankur. There is a follow-up question. One is, how can I get a trial license? And there is another question, follow-up question from Vinay Prasad from Sonata, that can you share the licensing model?
Sure. Great questions. So in terms of licensing model, we have got a step-based licensing model. What this means is you can start Wrike with limited features, and then you can, as you go up the licensing model, you get more and more features in Wrike. And the way to get trial license would be you can contact your Citrix account manager. Now, in case you have been invited to this webinar and you are not an existing Citrix account, you don't have Citrix account manager, feel free to email me and I will arrange someone to contact you. And also, before getting a license, I would also suggest that we can have a discovery session and a demo specific for your team. Because what I showed today is a generic demo. I've touched on many things, but sometimes you need to see a demo how Wrike will work for you and for your team. So we can have a very specific demo dedicated to your team. Kalpana, I hope that answers the questions.
Yeah, sure. You can go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would leave you guys with a final thought. How can we make our teams more efficient through collaboration? Thank you very much. Thanks for joining the webinar.
Thank you, Ankur. So I guess we have answered all the questions, and it was a complete pleasure interacting with you. I'm sure the insights shared by you today will be really useful to for our audience. Appreciate your time, and thank you everyone for attending this session. Please follow #CXOTV. Stay tuned to our social media channels for more updates. Stay safe and take care.
For more updates from CXO TV, please like and subscribe to our channel.